Wrestling Podcast coming to you on July 22nd, 2021. I'm your host, Earnestly, alongside Mike Bernier, Joe Lopez. Fellas, first full show in 2 weeks, huh?
Yeah, and we're literally alongside each other. Look at this shit.
Joe, welcome back
to the I was waiting for you to be done playing that stupid entrance song that we have.
I like the song.
But he always talks over the last half of it.
Yeah, but you can't understand what he says anyway, so it's fine.
That's why I was waiting, because they at home can understand what me and you are saying.
Yeah, I guess.
That is very true.
Wait, let me do my best Ernest impersonation.
Yep.
It's good.
Let's
go.
Okay, now do your best Joe impression. Go ahead, go.
Well, so, I don't know, but right now...
That's offensive. Wow. I am hurt as a homosexual.
Jesus.
Hey, toughen up, buddy. Anyway.
I did that a little too well, so I mean, if I see you on Grindr, I won't say anything, I promise.
Just look away.
Anyway, if you lose your smile, I can tell you a couple of bars where you might be able to find it.
Yeah. Before we get started on the show today, a couple of housekeeping things. So if you guys noticed on the feed for the last 4 days now, we've been seeing like miniature podcasts on the feed, and that is on purpose because we have started doing a thing called the Daily 15. I don't know what the name is. The Daily 15, Take 15. I don't know what the fuck it is. We're doing like mini podcasts every day, wrapping up, because there's so much going on in the wrestling world, so much going on that we feel that we need to talk about it every day. So whether that's me and Mike or me and Joe or Joe and Mike, whatever it may be, we try to get in the news or whatever, or anything else that may be in the world of professional wrestling, in and out the ring every day, because it's important too, especially for me, like for us to do this, because like, okay, for example, we do the show Thursday, right? Tomorrow SmackDown. If something big happens on SmackDown, we can't get to it till 6 days later. And I hate that. So
yeah, it doesn't really matter at that point anymore.
Right. So it provides us the opportunity to at least react to things that are important in the moment. So that's the norm now going forward. So we'll have a show. We're gonna have a show pretty much almost every day.
Yeah. And it's only 15 minutes, which I feel like is the real appealing thing, because there's not exactly a lot of podcasts that you can listen to, and they're nice and bite-sized like that. You can kind of listen to it literally as you're like on the crapper in the morning, like brushing your teeth or
treadmill
or on the treadmill. Yeah, I mean, maybe run for a little bit more than 15 minutes, you fat fuck. But otherwise, like, I think that's really great. I think it's great personally.
I think he loves that for you.
I think he does.
Fat for you?
No, he loves that for you.
Also, we're going to be doing a lot of expansion also too with our social media. We just created a Take 3 Instagram page. We'll be working on in the coming days. Facebook's coming up soon as well too. We're going to do more activity also on the Take 3 Wrestling Twitter page. You can follow, of course, at Take 3 Wrestling. I did a poll actually yesterday on there, and not a bad basically an AEW Dynamite poll. How did it go? And pretty much everybody liked it.
I did a poll too, actually.
Stop. I know where this is going. Don't you dare. I know where this is going.
He was a Polish guy. His name was Andrew.
You and your polls. Relax. So
the fact that you put that one on a T for him. Yeah. You may be the biggest idiot in the world.
Can I post shirtless selfies on our Instagram?
Only if you write Take 3 on your chest.
I mean, sure, I can do that.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So
what else we've decided to change? We've done some formatting changes for those of you at home, as well as we have decided to change the MVP section, which you guys will find out the brand new sparkly MVP / wrestler of the week that we're going to be using to basically format how we're going to. My wife brings me a hat to put on because my hair is all over the place.
Wrestler of the week.
Yeah, so our Wrestler of the Week section will basically be leading into the Wrestler of the Year debate at the end of the year. So I'm going to just throw this one at you guys live on the air because, hey, it's what we do here on the show because we don't really talk or anything. So it's July.
It is July.
And we're starting this at the half-month point. I want to nominate a idea. Obviously, we'll have the Wrestler of the Year based off of our point totals at the end of the year. Right. I would like to take it this year specifically because we're starting at the halfway point as the top 7 in points get in, and then we each get a wild card to put into it and then score like we do the awards at the end of the year.
I'm okay with that, but for the record, if you suggest that and then he puts in fucking Penta and Rey Fenix, you're not allowed to get upset.
He can only put one of them, and he only gets one wild card.
Okay, fair.
So which Lucha Bro are you gonna pick, bitch?
He's gonna pick Nick Jackson just to fuck with us.
No, he wouldn't do that to himself.
Is that the one with the receding hairline?
He wouldn't do that to himself. That's the problem.
No.
Like, he would do it to himself to pick one of the Lucha Bros because that's what he does.
Yes.
Because of the theme song.
Let me make you upset, Mike. I live to frustrate you.
You really didn't want to see me on a poker table Tuesday night at work then.
Upload the old, which is now the old fucking Lucha Bro song on this fucking soundboard. But the night's still young. Just saying, the night's still young.
I'm glad I have a lot of Mountain Dew Baja flashes in the refrigerator then.
Oh, but we need some black cherry today.
No, we're out of black cherry, so I'm drinking a Mountain Dew Baja Flash.
By the way, before we get started, also too, a special happy birthday to, of course, probably arguably the GOAT, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels today turns 56 years old.
And happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Okay, Steve, I do care. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Shawn Michaels was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, and now he's a hideous old man. So, moving on.
Lucha Bro.
Eyes go which way? This way? Oh, that way.
Which eye are you looking at?
That touch. Jeez.
He used to be a sexy boy, and now he
Joe,
looks like the kind of guys that I get hit on in life. The cab driver yesterday.
I was gonna say, was this your Uber driver?
Jesus Christ! I got hit on yesterday by an Uber driver. For the record, it was not a fun experience. I actually felt very uncomfortable because
he may or may not have felt violated.
It was a little weird. It was very. I'm not used to being this attractive. It's really hard. It's hard being me.
He's just a sexy Kurt. Sexy Kurt. He'll make your ankle hurt. Ankle hurt.
I like that is the direction you went in.
You're welcome. I was gonna say the other thing, but I'm taking the high road.
You haven't been here a whole fucking week and already causing trouble, Joe. Unbelievable.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I mean,
your shirt on. How about that?
I have my shirt on in the Uber.
You literally know why he has a shirt on in this house right now? Because if not, he could cut glass with his nipples.
Yeah, I'm literally wearing a hoodie. This is my hoodie.
You have like small nipples? No. Why am I asking this question?
You're, God damn it, Ernest.
That's too small.
You know what I love about this too? Mike is sitting right next to you, having experienced this shit. Fucking great. Love it.
I shared hotel rooms with this guy for fucking 10 straight WrestleManias. You think this is gonna fucking be the thing that fucking...
He always called Big Spoon, and it's really annoying.
Hell yeah.
Let's split it quickly. I mean that.
Anyway. Whoa.
Boy.
Sorry about that.
He's like sitting in a soundboard button.
He does. He's just like beep.
We're just now, so we're trying to we'll get.
He literally is the Star Wars guy. Pew pew pew.
Yes.
He has pressed 100 times.
This is like back to my radio show days back in fucking 2013, 2014. So anyway, today's topics are gonna be great. Dude, we got a lot of good topics today. We're gonna talk about Hulk Hogan's top 5 feuds. We're gonna debate that.
Yeah, you're gonna get shit on.
No, I'm gonna destroy your ass. This is my world.
Okay, Ordorf.
On the top, you will not be destroying my ass.
Wow. What the fuck are we doing here?
Boy.
My wife even said that escalating quickly.
If anyone's the ass master, wait. Stop.
On that note, let's get the show started. Michael, let's get your topic going, because I think your topic is to open the show. Well, you know, whenever you're done laughing there.
Oh my God.
Come on, Mike. Come on, guys. Everyone's ready. Prepare your sphincters.
Break. All right. My topic for this week's show is how much better was professional wrestling with fans in the stands? Yes, I know AEW's had fans back for 2 weeks, and they had whatever that was in Jacksonville.
There were people there.
People.
At certain point, right? But back by like what, September, October, they had people in like the in like the upper decks.
They may be robots. We're not sure they're people.
Since last fall. Allegedly.
People. So yeah, now that we actually have like fans every day, every real show, all that fun stuff.
There are people, real life people sitting through Raw.
Yeah, there was, and Raw was so much better with people sitting there through it.
It kind of was.
We somehow got through a Bill Goldberg thing and nobody died.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but
I mean,
it was more entertaining than it would have been.
Fans made that better because remember we had Goldberg versus Braun Strowman with one fan.
Yes,
and it may have been the worst wrestling match I've ever seen in my life.
It was pretty bad.
My eyes are still bleeding from that match. You can't see it because Can't see me. So my question, or I guess my question for you guys, or whatever you guys want to talk about, is at the end of the day, we've talked about how bad Monday Night Raw's been. We've talked about how above average NXT and SmackDown have been. I feel like everything took a step forward because they have fans. Now, we were at the Road Rager show for AEW in Miami.
You guys were, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't here yet, obviously.
No.
Because that was why we didn't have a show last week, because
I
was driving him from Maine. So now whenever you look at it from the perspective of the fans, the fact that we have fans, I don't think Raw and SmackDown and NXT, I think they're going to keep taking steps forward and get better as we progress, because obviously Monday Night Raw seems like they were in autopilot for the last...
At least the last 2 or 3 months, yeah, for sure.
And SmackDown was taking chances with certain things, but in other things, they had to build on Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns fought, I think, twice on SmackDown. Yeah. So, I mean, they really weren't taking many chances there either. He was coming out every night and doing stuff like that. So, that's the thing. I think we're going to see more improvement through everything. AEW, WWE, NXT, even Impact and Ring of Honor as they get fans back. I just want your guys' opinion on how big of a difference do you think the fans made on the week of professional wrestling?
So, okay, can I take a slight pivot and ask you guys a question?
Pivot?
And ask you guys a question related to this?
You have to get pivot on the fucking soundboard, by the way.
I was just they're going to try to do that now.
For sure. Okay. Do you guys feel like NXT feels kind of minor league now that it's the only of the shows out of Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT that is basically in front of a really small audience? Like, they're clearly still in that small little Capitol Wrestling Center. I guess it's really the Performance Center. They have, maybe 200 people in that crowd or so. During the pandemic when Raw and SmackDown had nobody and AEW had basically, the dark roster sitting around ringside, and that's who you saw on camera. Even if they had people in the upper stands, you didn't see them. Right. NXT felt like it belonged with all those other shows because it had the same amount of people, if not more at certain points. Now they kind of feel minor league. And I know it's the development system in WWE. It's factually the minor leagues in a way, but it's weird to go from having them feel like they were on level with just about everybody else. And now you've got AEW in these big arenas. You've got Raw in these big arenas. You got SmackDown in these big arenas. And you've still got NXT at the Capitol Wrestling Center. I don't know. I feel like it's making NXT feel less than. And I don't really love that because I love NXT. But did you guys agree, disagree?
Said on that one, and not just for the reason you just said, also because from this week on, what they're doing the rosters already, pulling people out of the rosters. It's not even so much their fault. It's just that they're bringing guys up. I mean, Karrion Kross is on Raw now. I mean, we assume he's on Raw permanently. I don't know. Tony up there now. I mean, it's just one of those things where they're plucking out. Look, they are development. They're still development. Joe, you're correct. You had to debate about maybe they're on par, close to par as Raw, SmackDown. No, I think we got a reality of that last couple months. They are still in development, and it was made more evident this Monday when you see AEW shows are back to full capacity. You see Raw, SmackDown fucking back to full capacity and doing the thing, and then now NXT is kind of like this. Okay, it's a wrestling show. It's a good show. And by the way, it's still fantastic. It's just that the reality situation.
And I think part of it too is because look, when it all started, when NXT and AEW started on Wednesday nights against each other, NXT was coming to you from Full Sail, also not a big building. Mike and I have actually been there. Not a big place. Again, maybe about 200, 250 people on a good day. If everyone's thinking skinny thoughts, that's who you can fit in there. So it's not like it was ever this big arena thing other than at the takeovers. But that said, I don't know. There was a certain energy about Full Sail. There was a certain environment about the way that was all set up that made it come across as a lot more lively than what we're getting right now from the Capitol Wrestling Center, CWC.
Say, Joe, that the energy, even though obviously Raw has more bigger capacity, I would say when I started watching NXT 2 years ago, I would argue the energy in NXT in that Full Sail was way more palpable than fucking what Raw SmackDown was doing in 2019.
Oh yeah,
let's see. We've sat through
We saw that Ciampa.
We sat through 4 full NXT tapes.
We saw when Ciampa won the title.
We saw Ciampa
Remember
win the belt.
that was a crazy.
We've seen cage matches.
Yep.
We've seen wars. We've seen the Street Profits basically dive into the stands. Hell, we had Triple H about 8 feet from us to our right whenever he went into the stands.
Right.
We've literally seen a lot of things happen inside Full Sail.
And look,
that crowd was bananas.
And look, we're indie wrestling fans, as you know, Mike and I. Like, we're big indie wrestling fans. The Full Sail crowd would sometimes come across as like a rabid Ring of Honor crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a Ring of Honor crowd in the Hammerstein Ballroom, or even in like the upstairs in the Manhattan Center.
Don't ever disrespect the Hammerstein Ballroom ever again. It's the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, sorry.
That man has taken over that building.
I apologize. So, but like, you know, like honestly, Full Sail had an element about it that maybe was even reminiscent of like the ECW arena, and not even just when ECW would run it. Because like, look, I've been to the ECW arena for Ring of Honor shows. I've been to the ECW arena for Chikara shows. Like, that place has just a certain it has a certain environment about it. And I don't know, like, there's just something.
I'm not necessarily saying that the CWC may not get to that. I think right now that WWE is being very selective. I mean, obviously, me and Joe looked up earlier today because of an announcement that was made. Hey, breaking news is just in for those of you that haven't been on the internet.
You need a sound drop that's like breaking news.
I have that actually. So I'm seeing one here. Is that?
Make it happen.
I don't have it right now.
Come on, dance, monkey, dance.
Dance, monkey, woo, woo.
Wait, is there breaking news going on?
Moves there. He is a little gay. He definitely at least a little bit.
Good lord.
He's
got a little him. Yeah.
He's at least Googled Brook Street Boys once or twice. Come on, admit it. Mormon boys, what's your thing?
Lady boys. All right, so it's been announced that due to the hand injury to Walter, him and Ilya Dragunov will not fight. Didn't fight tonight on the NXT UK show. It has been announced the night after SummerSlam, August 22nd.
22nd.
August 22nd, NXT TakeOver 36 for the United Kingdom title. It will be Ilya Dragunov versus Walter.
On the biggest stage that
supposedly
NXT
it's going to be at the CWC. Personally, I think this is the one where they rip the Mandate off and they let everybody come to it that wants to.
I really would.
See, the thing that the feeling I have from the CWC is it's more like almost like Fight Club. Like, it's kind of like dingy, worked up. Like, it's just, but this is the building that you have to go through to get to the limelight and to the big stage and all that. So it's like, I don't hate the CWC from that perspective. I like the fact that they've done it with like the chain link fence around the barriers and stuff like that. It makes it very unique.
It's like if Raw Underground had actually worked.
I don't think that bad.
I mean, that's how it feels.
See, but I feel like it's unique because they're not going and traveling to different venues.
It's definitely unique.
So I think that's the thing.
It's definitely unique.
And I think that's the thing for NXT. NXT has to be remembered here as a developmental brand. They made the mistake of trying to go up against a full-fledged multi-million-dollar company in AEW on that night. That was never going to work. That's why they moved to Tuesday nights. As much as they want to say it's because USA. No, they did it because the logical fucking assumption was if we can win the audience on Tuesday night, why are we competing with somebody on Wednesday night?
Right.
So all you have to do, you got to remember, how many minor league baseball stadiums have you ever been to in your life? Not a lot. I've been to a ton. None of them look like Major League Baseball stadiums.
No.
I think that's kind of what they're doing with here. It's a wrestling center. You're gonna win matches. You're gonna build yourself, and then you're eventually gonna get to the next level.
No, and that totally makes sense. But like as a viewer, you obviously, I don't know, like
as a viewer, the only thing that's hurting NXT is that they're still by invitation. If they open that up to a full-fledged audience, that place would be just as wild as Full Sail.
That's true. That is very true.
That's just mine.
Okay, so to answer Mike's actual question, to go back, I'm sorry for having hijacked.
You're fine.
Pivot.
Yeah, wrestling this week was a million times better with an audience in WWE alone. It's been better for AEW for the last couple of weeks.
Except for every time that the fucking Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny are on my screen.
Well, but that's not the audience's fault.
It's awful. It's bad.
You don't miss the Butcher?
You know what I miss? Trent.
I do miss Trent.
There you go. Pivot.
So, no, like I honestly, WWE definitely has benefited from having live crowds. I think one thing that's kind of interesting, and we saw this on Hell in a Cell, not Hell in a Cell. What was the pay-per-view? Money in the Bank. Look, it's not my fault. We saw this on Money in the Bank specifically when Charlotte was in the ring and the crowd started chanting for Becky and she was flipping them off. All of a sudden, and remember, I said this, I think I even said it on the podcast after we watched Money in the Bank, but I've definitely said this in the past. I low-key think that Vince McMahon loved not having an audience for a while because he could do whatever the hell he wanted. He had no accountability. He didn't have to worry about who wasn't getting over, what storyline wasn't getting over. Do we need to switch things up?
Yeah, we don't have to worry about anybody booing anybody out of the building.
No, exactly. You don't have to worry about a crowd chanting CM Punk. You don't have to worry about a crowd chanting "We want Becky" while Charlotte Flair's in the ring. You know, you didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. And that's kind of ironic because it's not like Becky doesn't still work for the company, so I don't know why that one upsets them.
But they weren't wrong.
Well, no.
But I definitely wanted Becky over fucking Charlotte.
Well, yeah, of course, we all do. But, like, at the end of the day, like, it's funny because I feel like that was a moment where Vince McMahon was just like, oh, crap, I don't have control over this anymore the way I used to. You know, it's not – look, WWE and pro wrestling in general is a very interesting conglomerate of different types of entertainment. It's a scripted television series that's filmed in front of a live studio audience that gets to actually react to it like it's a sporting event. And that becomes a very unique thing in my mind because, you know, it's like if you were filming an episode of Empire and you had a crowd in front of you and every time Cookie wasn't on the screen, they started chanting, "We want Cookie."
Empire fan too?
Of course I love Empire.
Dude, that's awesome. Mike, Empire now?
Cookie's the most sassy person in the world. Every gay man loves Cookie.
Just amazing.
But you know, all I'm saying though is like you don't get that with other forms of entertainment. You know, like there's not a live crowd watching Vin Diesel film Fast and Furious 9 chanting "We want Paul Walker." Like that's not a fear that you have to have in that realm. But it is in WWE, and it's funny because like for a while, you know, Vince has always said, what's the famous quote from Beyond the Mat? Vince is out there saying, "We make movies." For a while, for the last like 15 months or so, they were literally just making movies. They literally were just putting out productions. And now they can't do that. Now they actually have a crowd that's going to react, that's going to be unruly, that's going to be uncontrollable. It's like working with dogs and babies.
For it, motherfucker. I'm here.
It's just the truth. Like that's where they're at right now. And I think it was funny that like a moment like that happened on the first pay-per-view that they were back. And right away they were kind of like, oh crap, we don't want this. What can we do? Drop the feed. Or you know what I mean? Like it was interesting. It was an interesting view into the minds of the people in charge at WWE. Vince McMahon.
Let's do this quick. Because we're 2 weeks now into this, you know, crowd being back, really.
Well, with AEW at the very least, yeah.
Which brand has benefited the most so far?
AEW.
You think so?
I think AEW, because at the end of the day, they're the one that's still growing. WWE is the pinnacle, no pun. WWE is at the top of the mountain. They have no higher to go. You know what I mean? They're the family that's in charge in Game of Thrones. They're the Lannisters, you know? They have nowhere to go but down, technically, and they're not going down anytime soon, if we're all being honest. They're another stratosphere of pro wrestling. And so at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's great as viewers. It's great to have fans back. It's great to see that. I bet as the in-ring performers and the wrestlers, I bet they love having fans back. It motivates them more. It's what they do it for in a lot of senses, you know? So, I mean, in those senses, WWE benefits. But AEW is still growing. AEW is still, you know, going up the ladder right now. And at the end of the day, AEW is going to look better for having fans in the crowd who are there making the show more complete, more whole, making it more exciting to watch. Well, Dynamite the last couple of weeks.
If that's the case, they've had fans since fucking back in whatever, and we're still stuck with this shit Kenny Omega fucking storyline.
Yeah, but it's been better the last couple of weeks.
No, it hasn't.
I think it's been better the last couple of weeks.
What's Kenny Omega done the last 2 weeks? He's sat in a fucking ring with a fucking microphone with Tony Schiavone. The fact that Kenny Omega has to have an interview segment on every show makes that show come to a crashing fucking halt.
I don't know, but the stuff with Adam Page, I'm enjoying.
I agree with Mike on this one to some degree. Kenny Omega's fucking lame as shit.
He is, but it works against Adam Page.
But the angle's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I think that it wouldn't be as great if it wasn't for the fact that it's in front of crowds.
I think they were going to this route whenever they had crowds in Jacksonville. The fact that you have a crowd in Dallas or in Miami or Syracuse, New York, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that this storyline, cool. Kenny Omega, hot garbage. Having an interview segment on every fucking Dynamite in the middle of the show, hot garbage. Like, oh, okay, cool. Now we set up a 10-man elimination tag match for one of the shows. So what? We're gonna add a Kenny Omega interview segment at the beginning, and that's gonna be the main event. Like, at the end of the day, sometimes less is more when it comes to being the executive vice president, having to be on the TV screen every fucking week.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I told you this when we were driving over that, you put him on the poster. Put him in a fucking pre-tape segment and let him come out like after the show in a dark match that you don't air on TV and let him wrestle. Like go back to doing the little things when it comes to Kenny Omega. At the end of the day, we're literally doing this, and it's the cheesiest, fucking corniest fucking storyline in the world. And I'm ready for it to fucking be over. I'm ready for it to fucking be Adam Hangman Page's time. And for some reason Hangman does not walk out of Chicago as the world champion, and it stays on Kenny Omega, I will literally lose my fucking mind.
I don't see that happening. I honestly don't see that happening.
So huge now the crowd. I mean, now the Chet and Cowboy shit now on the regular. I mean, there's no way.
You two are literally hoping that this guy pulls the fucking trigger and taking the title off of the fucking.
I mean, I'm not saying that.
I think he has to.
Mike, I'm not saying what you're saying is actually inaccurate.
They should never have put the fucking titles on the Young Bucks. They should have never have put the title on Kenny to fucking begin with.
I don't know. I never minded Kenny actually winning the belt. I felt like that worked at the time.
That adopted is not really something that we necessarily like, but I mean, he still put on great matches though. I mean, once it's in the ring, it's fucking okay. It's kind of big.
At the end of the day, too, I think he's about to take some time off because that man looks burnt out and he apparently has a bunch of nagging injuries and stuff. So I just don't see any scenario where they're not going to put the title on
until Daniel Bryan shows up. Until CM Punk shows up, and then Kenny Omega goes, "Oh, I got to stay to wrestle them first because I'm the best bout machine." No,
I don't know that he has to wrestle them first though. I think he'd rather go heal up for a couple of months and then come back and be like in better shape to wrestle them.
Speaking of, there is some breaking news actually. According to Ringside.com, they're saying that CM Punk is 100% AEW.
Who?
CM Punk is.
No. Who's
Ringside News?
I don't know who that. I don't know. Are they reputable?
I mean, they're fairly known.
Are they PW Insider?
No, PW Insider, unfortunately.
No, that's who I believe. If you're not Mike Johnson or Dave Scherer, I don't actually believe a lot of what you say.
Discussed this yesterday too. Yeah.
I mean, I look at it from this standpoint.
Yeah.
I look at it from this standpoint. I already told Joe. I've figured out the way that they all fucking debut on any show that they decide to do.
Wait, I'm glad you're here. Wait, Mike, because we discussed it last night on the Daily.
I know.
No, I know. What's your reaction to the possibility of Daniel Bryan coming to AEW and CM Punk as well?
I am actually the one I think that is the biggest naysayer from either or both of them going there. Obviously, Bryan coming over would be a get. Punk would be a acquisition, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
CM Punk hasn't stepped in a wrestling ring in 5 years. You don't know what you're getting from him. Sure, you can cut a hell of a promo. Sure, you could put him in a stable with someone and let him go with Omega and the Elite and do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I don't really care.
Right.
But at what cost? Is this no more Jungle Boy push? Is this no more Darby? Is this, Miro drops the TNT title to one of them? Is it? I mean, there are so many. Their roster right now. We could take a 15-minute to 30-minute segment and take just the AEW roster that's signed to a contract and draft 2 different shows like Raw and SmackDown, and I still think we'd have a plethora of talent.
Right. I got this discussion with actually our friend Big Jim about this very topic, and we discussed it last night too with Joe, that I think The only reason why I think this wouldn't be as big an issue with that is that because I believe that both guys are going to be working probably part-time, so there'll be enough space to still utilize other talent. I don't think you'll see them on TV every single week in the same way they were with the WWE.
But can we?
I mean, we kind of said the same thing about John Moxley. We kind of said the same thing about Christian. And those guys have been there every week, with the exception of whenever Moxley had the kid.
No, I thought Moxley would be a week-to-week guy, personally.
But one thing, and just to bring it back to the topic, though, I think this is one of those moments, though, where, like, let's say this actually ends up happening. Let's say Punk debuts pretty soon in AEW. Let's say Daniel Bryan debuts pretty soon in AEW. The fact that it's going to happen in front of live crowds makes it mean so much more than it would have a couple of months ago. Look at Andrade's debut and look at Tommy End's debut. Yeah. Two completely different things. Andrade's debut was awesome, but it wasn't this most memorable moment like Malachi Black's debut was. That happening in front of that live crowd, in front of you guys, was fucking awesome. And that moment needed to be in front of a live crowd. Look, we all know, we've all been watching wrestling long enough, even you, Ernest, to know that the crowd can make a moment and make a match better than it is. They could also take away from something that would be really great otherwise. I've seen that too. Matches that I love that I'm just like, well, but the audience is sitting on their hands and this is low-key kind of shitty because of it. But then there's also like, there's The Rock and Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 18. That match is the drizzling shits in ring-wise, but that crowd makes it a 4-star match at the very least. Yeah. You know, you have that. There's in Ring of Honor history, there was Joe and Kobashi. People will say forever that match was one of the best Ring of Honor matches. But there are people who will sit there and tell you also that it's only like that because the crowd, which I was in that crowd, were rabid for that match. They were crazy for that match. They were like, oh my God, we're watching a legendary pro wrestler and Samoa Joe, our champion, out there like putting on this performance. That was made by the crowd. Wrestling needs crowds. We've known this. And the last 15 months have really proven it. And the last 2 weeks have proven it even more, honestly.
Well, I'm going to say this because I literally just saw the news. The Impact storyline involving Kenny Omega excites me more than
Jay White.
Watching him fucking talk on American every week. Yeah, because Jay White came out tonight and said, I'm sick and tired of you guys fucking throwing up 2 sweets since 2013. So, yeah, give me Switchblade because at the end of the day, I'd rather Switchblade be involved and have this whole Bullet Club thing so they can go all fall for fucking face of the earth together and not have to fucking worry about it anymore. At the end of the day,
is it breaking news?
Okay, let's and then we can move on or whatever. The Kenny Omega problem that I have is that he has centered himself. The Young Bucks are like Dollar Tree versions of themselves, and the Good Brothers are only good for swinging title belts from their dick.
Oof.
Okay, but here's a question for you though.
Okay.
And earlier today, you and I were talking, and you were saying how the tag division, in your opinion, AEW sucks. Right. Which I see your point because the way it's booked,
garbage
isn't the greatest. The teams are there,
sure.
The talent's there. If you had to right now, not booking something new, not fixing the booking.
Okay.
But what other team would be champions right now other than the Young Bucks, given the shitting booking?
No.
But they haven't been booked in a way where they should be champions.
Good Brothers.
Yeah.
Potentially the team of Kingston and Moxley.
Kingston and Moxley might be the only ones that actually make sense, like in terms of the current booking. That's all I'm saying.
The
like
Good Brothers.
They haven't even wrestled like a tag match in AEW.
And that's probably the most annoying thing after Kenny Omega's the way he's been acting is the fact that they haven't done shit.
No, they show up and they just corner Omega.
I would also argue that you could put the titles on Death Triangle. You could have put it on Uno and Grayson. You could have put it on.
But how do you put it on Uno and Grayson when they've had barely 3 matches on Dynamite? That's what I'm saying. Like,
the Young Bucks have had 3 matches and fucking 2 of them were against FTR and one of them won the fucking world titles. The other one was in fucking Miami against Penta and
No, they've been on Dynamite like every week wrestling more or less.
It ain't a talent issue. It's a fucking booking issue.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're going yes, I agree with you. There are better teams that deserve to be champions, and if they booked it correctly, it would make sense. From the current booking, the shitty booking that they're giving, which I agree with you about. That was your point.
Hold on. The shitty booking, but you guys love what they're doing. You guys love the matches.
I love the company overall. Yes, I do. Yes, I love the matches that they're putting out.
But what I'm getting at is how can you love hot garbage, but then criticize WWE when they're putting out hot garbage? It's hot garbage either way. The tag team division in AEW, hot garbage. The women's division in AEW, hot garbage. Kenny Omega with a fucking promo with Tony Khan pulling the fucking Bangkok joke that you pulled in 7th grade. Garbage. At the end of the fucking day, garbage is garbage. But we love it. We love the garbage in that company. It smells like flowers.
I like the matches. I like the in-ring matches. Like, I'm sorry, the Young Bucks have actually been delivering recently. The last couple of weeks at Impact, I've enjoyed them.
I would take AJ and Omos versus the Viking Raiders over the Young Bucks.
You have fun with that. No, I'm good on that.
Again, it's an issue about it's the ring. The in-ring product is good. It's the booking I have a problem with. But
But the problem is the in-ring work is a fucking it revolves around the booking.
Right.
The fact of the matter is they should not have beaten FTR for the titles 6 fucking months ago.
That I agree with.
Bring over FTR. That's the tag team that you have the title belts on from the very fucking beginning.
I don't disagree with that.
And then the Lucha Bros could have gotten it. Death Triangle with Pac, Eddie Kingston, and Pentagon. You could have gotten there and gotten the titles off the Young Bucks that way. You could have gotten them to Luchasaurus and fucking Jungle Boy at one point.
But then,
I would have put the titles on fucking SCU for fucking 3 weeks.
But I don't disagree with any of that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and act like that. Okay, so like I don't have to be thrilled that the Young Bucks are champions, but I'm not going to act like them against Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley wasn't an excellent match. I'm not going to act like them against Penta and Pac or whoever, Ray Phoenix and Pac, whichever.
It was Penta.
I don't think
you're right. That match was fucking sick. That match was amazing.
That match was sick because it was a 13-minute car crash.
But that's what it needed to be. Tell me that you haven't watched PWG main events that weren't exactly that you didn't love.
I do think so.
But at the end of the day, from the standpoint of the booking, they should not be the tag team champions. How do you get the titles off them in the current booking? You give the fans the title change. You let the fans erupt at the fact that Eddie Kingston and fucking Pentagon are walking out of Miami randomly as tag team champions because they're the number one contenders. Because, I don't know, they're the number one ranked team in your rankings that you don't even fucking follow.
I mean, that would have been awesome if they had won.
I will say this much, though. I think maybe it probably won't happen, but ever since the face turn, Santana Ortiz seems to be a lot more serious now. Now, one of the company decides to book him as the next in line, I don't know. But I'm just saying that's.
No, you're gonna get like who are 2 single guys that we could put together into a random fucking tag team. We're gonna get let's see, Frankie Kazarian and
Peter
Marco Stunt. They're going to be the next fucking contenders for the tag titles because, let's just put random fucking people together. And
what you're saying, Mike, is correct, actually. I actually agree with you. The booking is fucking crap. I agree with you on that one. It's just a who at this point.
But at the end of the day, my point is you can have all the great in-ring matches in the world. But if they don't make sense from the storyline perspective, it does not help fix the fact that it's garbage.
Okay. On that note, it's game time. Mike.
Jeopardy.
Oh, wait, I have to look away. I can't see the answers.
No, I don't have it written down.
Oh, okay. Wait, how do you know the answer then?
Wait.
I'm a genius, dog. What the fuck do you mean? All right, so new segment here for the show that we're going to bring to you guys.
Go ahead.
Just hitting soundboards over here.
That was weird.
It was the Jeopardy.
Oh, that what that was?
Yeah. So.
Right? I'm saying.
Chris Statlander's on our show? Why?
Apparently.
Hello, Chris. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, new fun change that we're doing here on the show. Rather than a boring transition, we're going to play Jeopardy, where we're going to ask one question a week. One of us is going to ask it. It's going to rotate who. We each start with 1,000 betting points. You have to bet a minimum of 100. And if you run out of points, you then become the permanent questionnaire for 1 month or until one of the other 2 people run out of points. At the end of that time, you will then be credited another 1,000 and you will get back into the game. Person with the most points at the end of the season will win something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I've taken the precedent to come up with question number 1 because I'm a genius and that's what I do.
I enjoy that when you lose all your points, you get like a stimmy.
Yeah. But
you get 1,000 points.
But the thing is, so if you get to 3,000, you automatically lose 1,000. We come back to collect that. We collect taxes. We collect tax over here.
Damn.
Taxation without representation.
Whoa. Politics.
Bella laughed at that.
She found out very
funny. Found out great.
She's paying attention in history class.
Hell yeah. All right. So the question for this week's show: 9 years ago at PWG Tremendous 3. there was a 3-team ladder match that included some pretty big people.
Ernest PWG is Pro Wrestling Gorilla. It's a company in California.
Because now he's going to look it up, genius.
How's he going to look it up? We're watching him.
His hands are underneath the table, dog.
Hands up, both of us. Hands up.
Okay.
All right.
No. Full time.
Leave him
hands up. Not in front of your face. Why are you so bad?
He's an idiot.
Come on, like on the side.
Where's his left hand? This is cheating.
Big up.
Cheaters never prosper, sir.
Big up. It's a stick up.
Yeah, we're gonna use some word in a second. I'm looking it up.
All right. So that's being said. Jesus Christ. 2 of the tag teams included the team that I just represented, talking about the Young Bucks. They also took on the team of Future Shock, which is Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole.
Baby.
And this AEW tag team. The question is, name that AEW tag team.
And like they're an active tag team right now.
Correct. So
nobody's injured in the team.
Nope.
Fuck me.
Later.
All right, cool.
I have no idea. I'm really annoyed. I have no idea. What underbooked tag team is this?
So you both have to give me your monetary numbers before you answer, because I'm not going to let you guys cheat.
$50.
No, you have to at least 100.
100. I'm cheap.
Yeah, I'm only betting 100 on this one
Hold
too.
on. I gotta write this down so that
I have zero confidence that I'm going to get this right.
Me too.
Joe, Mike.
Should we just text you the answer? I don't know how you do this.
Nope.
No, we're gonna say it out loud.
Because one of you's gonna go, and then the other one's gonna go, and then I'm gonna tell you what the correct answer is.
Okay.
So, with that being said, Ernest, give me your guess.
Shouldn't we just write it down and like that way you know that like I'm not taking his answer?
I'm ready to go. I just said it. Can you hear what I said?
No.
Okay. Ready to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
2, 3. Best friends.
Well, but Trent is injured, right? You said it's not someone injured, so Ernest sucks.
He doesn't pay attention.
That's okay.
You want to take his answer?
No, I don't want his answer.
Okay.
Take
So Ernest is down to 900.
Yeah, of course.
Shit, but who is it? I feel like the Lucha Bros didn't exist in PWG that early, because in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been around for a hot. I'm gonna go with the Lucha Bros, but I feel like it's wrong.
That is also incorrect.
Who?
The correct answer is Stu Grayson, player Uno.
Fuck
the Super Smash Brothers.
That's in this game. I'm the best.
God, that the Super Smash Brothers were ever in PWG.
Yep. They were a huge part of PWG for like 3 years. Like they were like
they were
tag team
like
in
right.
PWG. Like everyone was raving about how great they were because of their work in PWG.
Well, I always, to be perfectly honest, because when I started watching Chikara in 2008, they were there as one of the top teams, and I always think of them as Chikara.
Was Savio Vega there?
No, they were more than just there. They were awesome.
They were.
That's the other thing too. Like you almost forget that they're a tag team in AEW for like the exact reasons we were just talking about. They're like never on Dynamite or anything.
Well, they're going to be on Dynamite in a couple weeks whenever they're part of that 10-man elimination tag, when it's Page, them, and Reynolds and Silver versus
Car crash.
What if this led to them fighting the Young Bucks? I mean, they're going to be on two opposite sides together. What if that led to by All Out? Like you have, in addition to Omega fighting Page for the world title, you have Super Smash Brothers taking on the Young Bucks. And what if they actually did pull the trigger? That would be fucking awesome. I know you don't expect it. I don't expect it either. But how awesome would that be?
I'm living under the assumption that it's going to be the Young Bucks until the fucking world collapses. So,
but at the very least, if they actually pulled the trigger on that as a tag title match, it would be like a 5-star match.
Oh yeah,
hands down. Oh, yeah. It could be incredible.
Those four work together.
Yeah, it is actually a shame that they don't push that team as much as they should.
So after 1 week, Mike is still at 1,000. Ernest and Joe are both at 900. One of you will be doing the question next week. I'll let you guys figure that out.
Okay.
I need a fucking drink.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Let's rock, paper, scissors for who's going to do the question next week.
All right.
No, come on, ready?
Wait. Okay.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
What's that? I win.
All right. So
you do it, right?
He gets to choose. I feel like really. So,
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to give the question, or do you want to be on the intro?
Another question next week. I'll do it.
Okay.
He's giving the question.
Okay.
Me versus you next week. All right. Cool.
He just wanted to make sure that he doesn't lose more points.
Exactly. You smart guy. Yeah,
Well,
so-
I mean that means the following week that it's me versus him, and you're
Just
doing the question.
all I'm saying is though, like you and I probably need to study our like best of Saturday night's main event on Peacock because like
I'm glad we have
know.
a lot of time in the next.
Yeah,
week.
we all know where this question's going.
On the 1987 Boston Garden Show, Randy Savage took on this incredibly ridiculous lunatic, who is Ludwig Borga. That is correct. What the fuck? How did we get there?
And on that note, take number 2 today. Take number 2 is mine. Anyway, are we good?
Yeah. Why are you touching your boobie?
I am a real American.
Are you dusting your shoulder? You got some dirt on your shoulder. Would you want me to dust it off for you?
Haters and shit, you know. Anyway, so my topic to this week is
flex on them haters.
That was inspired.
Hi haters.
Hi haters. Someone was inspired by, as you know, last week we lost a legend. Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful Poor North passed away.
Easy for you to say.
And there's a lot of debates on the internet about what his feuds he was in and his legacy, all that. And obviously, when you think of his biggest feuds of his career, obviously Hulk Hogan comes to mind. Which sparked the debate now about Hulk Hogan feuds all the time, and where he ranks among Hogan feuds. Because the Hogan feud was to me incredible. It's actually quite influential when you think about it in hindsight. So this triggered now, because I wanted to do this actually, and I'm going to do this on my solo pod too, but it triggered me tonight discussing now what are Hulk Hogan's top 5 feuds in order. So I don't know. Who wants to go first?
Well, you should go first because we're gonna shit all over your answers.
Correct.
Like that's just pretty much our plan.
Correct.
Pretty fucking wrong.
I literally promised 3 count last week on their show that I was gonna shit on your answers, so it's okay.
Just let it go.
You're gonna be totally wrong with number 1, okay?
That's what you think.
Yeah,
Right.
go for it.
So let me throw out some honor mentions real quick. My honor mentions, I have 3. I have 3 of them actually.
Okay.
Big Boss Man, the '88 feud when Boss Man came to the company.
Okay.
Earthquake, because I was one of those assholes writing letters to Hogan, get well soon, 1990.
Yeah.
Was, and Sergeant Slaughter, which of course is the Iraqi bad taste, obviously in hindsight, but God, it was a big deal at the time.
Yeah, as a kid, I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I love that feud.
The kid was stupid too, so we don't know any better.
Right.
we look at that, it's like, ugh, don't touch that one. Vince would, but anyway.
It's the kind of thing you can never get away with today.
No. So I'm gonna go 5-1 because I'm cool at that. But 5, biggest Hogan feud in my opinion.
Keep telling yourself that, bud.
Okay, Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper from 85 through 86. Roddy Piper at one point at that time was the biggest heel in wrestling.
But okay, to be fair, and I know you weren't the biggest WCW fan and stuff like that, but
Right.
Piper and Hogan feuded even into their WCW in the late 90s. Like, it's never, they are one of those feuds where it never really ended. You know what I mean? Like, they always were on opposite. Hell, Hogan came into WWE again back in around WrestleMania 19 or so, when he was fighting Vince McMahon, and you had Piper show up and like, screw him over, or at least attempt to, and side with Vince. So like, that was one of those feuds that literally was a never-ending feud. I mean, I loved it.
If the Hogan Piper feud had started in the 90s, they would have made the change in the belt. But back then it's a little different. Never.
Yes. Yeah. No, Piper never needed the title. We all know that too.
Number 4, WCW. Because to me, I could say Sting, I could say Luger, I could say this.
Stop taking the cop out.
It's a cop out.
The bottom line is not what it is without Hulk Hogan's, being in it. Period. In discussion. So basically, everybody in WCW, Hogan.
Garbage.
I don't say Sting. Say Sting. I don't say Sting because I was at the match in Starrcade '97.
Okay, but did Hulk Hogan feud with Conan?
No, Conan joined the NWO.
But my point is, then they can't be the entire WCW, you cop out motherfucker.
Don't count Wolfpack. We do cop out to this show. Number 3.
He
didn't feud with Mongo.
Garbage.
All right, whatever. 3. Orndorff.
You're an idiot.
Orndorff.
You are a fucking idiot.
Okay, wait. I have a real question for you.
Go ahead.
Real question. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna put a lot of people on the spot because this is just real. Okay. If we were doing this topic 3 weeks ago before Paul Orndorff died, he's not on your top 5 list.
Top 5.
No,
Yeah.
he's not.
No,
He's not.
Yes.
No
Not a
chance.
chance
Nobody.
in hell.
No. He's
Yes.
another one of those people. A lot. This happens. The wrestling fan community is notorious for this. Someone dies, someone passes away, and all of a sudden they were the best wrestler of all time.
Garbage.
All of a sudden, like no one ever talked about them for years, and then all of a sudden, oh my god, they were my favorite. I love them.
So-
Fucking like Jinder Mahal is gonna die one day, and people are gonna be like, he was the greatest WWE champion of all time.
You're saying, I get what you're saying.
Greatest from India.
I've always said Orndorff was top 5. Always said, because first off, that case
We've been doing a podcast with you for over 2 years. You've never brought up the name Paul Orndorff until he died.
No, not today.
I don't need to. We talk about we tell them what's the current wrestling. What's the big deal?
You do nothing but talk about 1980s pro wrestling.
And the 2020 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that too. I mean, come on. No, seriously, Orndorff was always one of my 5. Always. You can ask anybody that.
There's no way he's in the top 5 of his
Well,
feud.
you know, we could disagree with that one, but Orndorff's in the top 5. Because Orndorff actually.
Hold on. We can disagree with it, or every other credible news source that talks about Hulk Hogan feuds doesn't have Paul Orndorff in its top 10.
They're dumb. They're fucking.
No, because they're fucking smart, dude. How can you have a 2-year fucking feud where Paul Orndorff did nothing meaningful?
Why Orndorff's my top 5 is because he actually, to be honest, he influenced the number 2 spot on my list.
He didn't do anything in a feud with Hogan. Garbage.
Anyway, number 2, Randy Savage. Because to me, the Savage feud almost copied the Orndorff feud, really, in a lot of ways. The betrayal.
There was a random love triangle because one of them's a psychotic cokehead.
Minus the Liz part, but I'm saying that it
One of them
copied.
was a psychotic cokehead in the Hogan Orndorff feud.
This is
my
no wait. This is so good because this is the first time in the history of forever that anyone's claimed that the Randy Savage Hulk Hogan feud was a ripoff of a Paul Orndorff.
No, it inspired it.
Has ever made that claim before?
Actually, a couple guys made it.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
Andre, number 1, of course, because the impact. The reason why I didn't put Savage number 1 is because it's not coming from fucking months away. So anyway, good. Next, go. Give a feud. Give a feud so I can sit on.
Oh my
So
God,
like,
that's
wait.
so good.
For the record, I just want to point out.
Oh, I can't breathe.
I know how you feel about Kenny Omega. I know, Mike, how you feel about Kenny Omega. But that Omega Page feud is great. You know, it's a direct copy of the Paul Orndorff Hulk Hogan feud, right?
Yeah.
You know that Kenny Omega Hangman Page feud? Just total ripoff of that Kenny Omega Kota Ibushi feud. Former best friends, potential lovers, scorned, and now fighting over.
Wow, you just made it Brokeback Mountain. I don't know how you just did
Yes!
that. It just became spit in your hand. I wish I knew how to quit you. God damn.
This is so garbage. I can't breathe. You want to go?
Oh my god. I'll go.
I can't breathe.
I will go. Paul Orndorff is nowhere near my list.
He doesn't even make the honorable mentions.
I don't have honorable mentions. I only have 5. And I'm gonna go from 1 to 5 because I'm cooler than Ernest. Okay, so my number 1, I'm sorry. It's Sting. I'm not even a WCW fan. You know I'm not a WCW fan. But that feud literally was built over the entirety of a year. And it involved Sting sending Hulk Hogan his own head in a box. Like, how often does that happen?
Can we mention that feud also had Sting not wrestle a single match for 1 calendar year?
Yeah, for real. Like, and now granted, it was better when Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan did it the first time. But otherwise, it was an amazing feud. Like, no, that feud was everything. When I think of Hulk Hogan, and as much as I grew up as a Hulkamaniac, I grew up watching him in the 80s. I grew up all those feuds. You're going to see with the rest of my top 5, it's all those guys. It's all that because that is my Hulk Hogan also. But I'm not going to sit here and act like the feud with Sting wasn't the best booked thing that Hogan was probably ever involved in, especially outside of WWF, but definitely even inside of inside of the wrestling world in general. No other feud he had went that long. No, like, yeah, I know I just got done saying like the Piper feud technically kind of lasted a couple of decades.
The 14 years in between moments was kind of
right, exactly. Like that wasn't necessarily like an ongoing thing for a whole calendar year, if not a little bit more than that.
More.
Sting and Hogan, that was a feud. That was a solid happening feud.
And they had like one match, and it was at Stargate.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had
like,
matches after that, right?
But literally, the feud between Paige and Omega, they're going to be in a 10-man tag match where it's like they're going to tease like fighting each other, but they're going to probably not. Like, they didn't even tease that with Sting.
Right.
Sting sat in the bleachers with a baseball bat and just started fucking pointing at people like, "You're dead."
No.
You're dead.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. I honestly love that feud. So number 2, I'm gonna give it to Piper. I'm gonna give it to Piper for the longevity. I'm gonna give it to Piper for the fact that, like, no matter what, they were never the people who were gonna end up on the same side as each other. It just wasn't gonna happen. Piper didn't join the NWO. Like, you know what? Savage is number 3 on my list. Like, spoiler alert,
Mm-hmm.
Savage is number 3 on my list because I love the Mega Powers storyline specifically. Specifically, the Mega Powers, them getting together, him having lust in his eyes for Elizabeth.
So you didn't love the continuation of their feud in WCW like 35 years later?
I mean, I didn't dislike that, but also too, like, Savage ends up joining the NWO in that. Savage ends up being on Hogan's side only so that they can then, like, actually feud within the NWO and, like, have a rift there. But, like, they ended up working together again. And, like, that, I don't know, like, that just, it's not as interesting as, like, with Piper, where, like, you know what, they could have easily put Piper in the NWO. He could have been the mic guy for them. He had the WWE connection. He had all of that.
Absolutely.
You could have easily put him there. They didn't. It was just like how remember the moment when Hogan turned and you had Heenan on commentary being like, "I've been telling you guys this for years."
That was the best.
It was great.
He almost first of all, he almost spoiled the whole fucking thing coming up the aisle, and then
he
did
spoil it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that's the thing though, like, it fits the fact that, like, the continuity was there. The continuity was always there with Hogan and Piper, down to Hogan wrestling Vince, like, in the 2000s, and having Piper be the guy who comes out and interrupts the match and screws Hogan over, or at least attempts to. That continuity, I respect that, so I appreciate that. Savage gets number 3 because, like I said, the Mega Power storyline, some of the best wrestling booking I think that WWF has ever done. If they could do that all the time again, they've only done it twice, once with Hogan and Savage and once with Hogan and Orndorff. But if they could just do it all the time, look, he said it, okay? He said it.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It's a full-on copy, apparently. So all I'm saying though is that I appreciate
Which part was the copy? The fucking amount of cocaine they did before all the fucking backstage segments? Because I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Oh my god! So all I'm saying is, like, that I appreciated that specific storyline, and I did appreciate, like, them fighting again once they were in WCW and stuff like that. But, you know, if they had always been enemies through and through after the split of the Mega Powers, that maybe even would have gone to number 2 for me. But it gets number 3, and it gets number 3 very solidly. I'm okay with putting that at number 3.
Solid.
Right. So my number 4 was one of your honorable mentions, actually, and this is just a personal...
Earthquake?
Yep, it's Earthquake, because as a kid, that storyline to me was everything. I didn't even remember the fact that it wasn't for the title, to be perfectly honest. It felt like the top storyline. It felt like the main thing that was going on in that company. I don't think I ever actually wrote a letter to WWF, like a Get Well Hogan letter, but I remember them doing that. I remember them having him, you know, out there giving having all the kids write in and stuff like that. That was great. That was such a great storyline. And the thing is, at the end of the day, Hogan, Earthquake felt like the guy that could destroy Hulkamania.
Correct.
And there wasn't a lot of that. You know, you had people pop up that were kind of threats, but not really threats. You knew he was going to overcome. There was a moment there as a child, as a 7-year-old, or however old I was, where I was just like, oh shit, he can't overcome this one. He can't overcome this big balding man. Right. No, so that one's there for me. Number 5, you know.
Slaughter?
No, it's the crowd at WrestleMania 36. Like, that feud, they booed him out of the building. That feud was amazing. We don't like him anymore. That's just where it is.
No, you can't sit with us.
No, it's okay. For a real answer for number 5, it might be Slaughter. I would think about Slaughter. Slaughter might be an honorable mention. It might actually be Vince McMahon for me. Because I did enjoy when they feuded, when he came back to WWE. I enjoyed the Mr. America stuff. I'm not going to lie. I was sad when that ended. And honestly, there's a real world element to that. They, as much as they probably were always sort of on the same page, there was also a point where they were literally on opposite sides of each other in a courtroom. So you know that it's a love-hate relationship between the two of them. Will probably always be. Like, they know that they can kind of use each other and make a buttload of money at any given time, except maybe not now anymore. But like at the end of the day, there's an animosity there. There's a rivalry there that I think doesn't deserve to be ignored. So I'm convinced there.
Let me ask you a question. Why not Andre?
You know,
I
just literally forgot because I was just coming up with it off the top of my head. Andre probably belongs on that list. I'm not going to lie, because that was a really well-booked storyline. Was Andre the one where you had the twin referees and stuff too?
Yes.
Well,
all right, so Andre belongs on my list. Take Vince off. I still think I made a good case for Vince. Vince gets honorable mention. Slaughter gets honorable mention. Put Andre at number 5. And I'm only putting him at number 5 because I think it's a little it's a little too obvious and on the nose that you'd put him higher than that. Because he slammed him at WrestleMania and stuff like that. But the storyline with the twin referees and all of that, like, it deserves to be there. That's almost as good as the Mega Power stuff. You can't. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's not. I didn't write this down. You know, I don't write things
sort
down.
of actually impacts that too, because the two referees and to go to the tournament and Savage wins it and
yeah, exactly. No, that was great booking back in the day, even though WrestleMania 4 sucked.
Why not?
Was great.
Why not Orndorff though? Come on.
Mike.
All right, I have an honorable mention or two, but I'll mention them at the end. Number 1,
Sting.
Sting. The fuck you mean? The guy was arguably the biggest pet peeve and the biggest needle in fucking Hogan's side his entire WCW run. He was there the night he turned. He was there whenever he took the title from him. He joined the fucking Wolfpack. He then feuded with him in the Wolfpack. He then feuded with him in Impact Wrestling. Yeah, it's Sting, and it's Sting.
Like, if I were not to cop out, Sting would be number 4. He'd be on my list. But I just put.
You gotta move him up 3 spots, and then you'll have a good list.
No. We're not gonna do that. Orndorff, baby.
No, we're definitely gonna do that.
Number 2.
Garbage. Number 2, Andre the Giant.
Yeah. I feel like it's valid. I feel like that is
valid.
I'll
go Andre too. I love the way they built that. I love the way that they did some things. And honestly, and I'll just mention now, one of my honorable mentions was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Because buying the title from Andre and trying to keep the title away from Hogan by any means necessary. Kudos on how good of while short, a fun storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Also around everything too, again. So it's right.
Number 3 is somebody that you guys have not mentioned. That's okay.
Wait.
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh,
great one.
Would you put it as the Heenan family or literally just okay?
Yeah,
I respect
the entire
that.
Heenan family.
I respect that.
The Heenan family, because here's how it went. It went from fucking King Kong Bundy, Hercules, Andre, you name it. Anybody in that fucking family, Orndorff.
Well, I'm not going to give you Orndorff.
No, but again, that was part of the Heenan family also too.
He was in the Heenan family, but he wasn't feuding with him when he was in the Heenan family.
No, in 86 he was. The blow off actually was Heenan.
But Bobby the Brain Heenan is the main person who he feuded with, and Bobby just went to anybody that he could get to be part of his family to try to stop Hulkamania.
He was the last person before Andre got in. The last feud before Andre.
At number 4, surprising one here. I'm not really surprising. I'm gonna obviously go Savage.
Yeah.
First name Macho, last name Man.
Talk
about it. Number 5, I guess I technically have to put Roddy Piper on this list just because of how long that feud was.
Yeah, he belongs on the list.
It's a good feud. It's probably like it like 5, and then like my 6, 7 are probably like all in that same like vortex. And then $1 Million Man is like 8. So my other 2 honorable mentions, and Joe, you'll appreciate this one.
Sure.
The Alliance to End Hulkamania.
Oh, the Dungeon of Doom, working with the 4 Horsemen.
Working with the 4 Horsemen, yep.
Oh, man. Somehow the Yeti just made this list. I don't know how that just happened.
Honorable mention, the Yeti.
Hulk Hogan getting butt fucked just made this list.
Oh, my God.
I do appreciate that,
You're welcome.
I suppose.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And my other honorable mention is one that I put on my original top 5. when I actually started deep diving, I mean, I'm going to be the only one that's going to put Flair on my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on that one.
I love what him and Flair were doing. I love the fact that Flair was his first opponent in WCW. Flair dropped the belt to him. I love the fact that they feuded through the late days of WCW, and then even tried to be like teammates in the Millionaires Club and all this other bullshit. And then they went to Impact and they feuded there. It's a feud. It has the Piper longevity. Like, yes, WWE obviously fucked it up by them not having the match at WrestleMania 8.
Yeah.
Like,
if they had that match, I would agree with you. That belongs on the list.
But
the fact that never happened.
I mean, we say that, but what happens if that match would have been the Drizzling Shits? Because it probably would have been the Drizzling Shits.
You know,
Hogan.
But I don't actually think so, because they had a house show match at MSG that was available at least on the network for a while. I don't know if it's on the Peacock version of the network.
Mike, it couldn't have been worse than Hogan and Sid, which we eventually got.
I mean, I don't know how better it could have been. Oh, I do have one other honorable mention, but I'll let Joe finish his statement first.
No, I'm just saying, like they had a match on an MSG house show that was available on the network for a while, and I don't know if it's available on Peacock now, but it was actually a great friggin' match. Like I really enjoyed watching that match. If they had the chance to actually do that at WrestleMania, and it's funny because it's a double-edged sword, because I love Savage and Flair from WrestleMania 8. I wouldn't rewrite history to take away that match, because I love that match. That's one of my favorite early years WrestleMania matches. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm like super disappointed it didn't happen. But if you don't have Flair and Hogan at that Mania, I feel like it needed that in order to actually be solidified as like this major, amazing feud in my eyes.
Right.
I love the fact that they literally feuded, and that the feud in WCW, like, obviously he was part of the Alliance, tried to end Hulkamania. He had all that stuff going on. The Horsemen were trying to fucking be thorns in Hogan's side the entire time of the NWO. Hell, they had a War Games match where Kurt turned on the fucking Horsemen, and that's the reason why they lost. Like, all that stuff. They never had the one-on-one match to culminate the feud, but they were always in a feud.
Right.
And my last honorable mention is the cameraman that shot the fireball in his eye at King of the Ring 1993.
Yeah.
Bonsai.
Bonsai.
All right. Before we get to the third topic, Joe, what do you love this week?
What?
What do you love this week?
Well, the music, number one. I clearly love the music. Obviously, I appreciate this bed. Okay. So AJ Lee. A while.
Hold on, wait. It's way too loud. I gotta fix this. This is way too loud.
All right, you ready for me?
No, go ahead. You get to go in the meantime. I'll
AJ Lee, your husband's been sitting at home for a while, probably controlling the TV remote. Probably don't get to watch like your soap operas. You don't get to watch your Jersey Shore, any shows that you really enjoy. If you're a fan of like Bridezilla and stuff like that, you probably don't get to watch it, right? He's probably always watching sports and stuff like that. You know, you don't get to just kind of lounge around in the middle of the day. You don't get to really enjoy yourself because your husband's just always there. But apparently, the rumor is he's about to go back to work. He's about to be a busy boy. He's about to be in AEW, and you're about to have control of the TV. And I don't know. I think every wife on the planet right now can definitely sympathize for how awesome that is to get your mans out of the house and just have some free time. So AJ Lee, I love that for you.
All right, I like that. I gotta find it's lower probably, but there's no. Unfortunately, the channel is on the same as the soundboard's on the same channel as the Skype, and if I turn this down, I'll turn you down too. So can't do that.
You're not allowed to turn me down. That was the most Bill Cosby thing I've ever said.
Oh my god.
Dude, you. I don't know.
You're the one that's setting him up for all of this. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah, he's my straight man. Literally.
I need a drink.
A little bit of the bubbly.
All right, Joe, go for the next one. Get your topic.
All right, my topic's gonna be an easy one, a quick one, a fun one. That's what she said. So
I should say that.
As you guys probably know, I'm a gigantic fan of the Fast and Furious movies.
Hold on. Spoiler alert. We're going to say something real quick. And I know that his roommates will not listen to this show, but I will purposely play this part for them when I see them next. Earlier today, I get a text message from this guy. Quote, "This boy is really doing 120 on the freeway right now." And I responded with, "Who?" He goes, "Kenny." I go, "Okay." He's
and his car is basically a race car.
He goes, "Dustin's about to take his car keys." I looked at him and I was like, what the fuck? So I go over to pick Joe up earlier because we're hanging out watching Ring of Honor. We're getting ready to start our the rewatch of Honor stuff that we're going to do. That may or may not be a podcast plug that I just dropped that you don't know about yet. So here you go. So I get there. Kenny's playing GameCube and I go, I heard this story. He goes, yeah, this guy came up and revved his engine. And what Joe didn't tell me was that him and Dustin egged Kenny on to rev back.
All we said was rev back.
So now, the International Drag Racing and Street Racing Manual says that anytime that someone revs an engine at you and you rev back, you have agreed to at least attempt to race for 1/4 mile. At the end of the day, they told him to do it, and then he's like, I didn't tell him to do that. I'm like, have you not watched the first 9 episodes of the fucking Tokyo Drift fucking Fast and Furious series? He goes, yeah, but they go to space in that. I'm like, no, how do you watch the first 3 where all they do is rev the engines and then they race?
Look, I just wanted him to be a little bit more Vin Diesel and a little bit less Paul Walker. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But the fact that you just said I'm a big Fast and the Furious fan,
I am.
And you don't know that the international rules are if you rev an engine and someone revs back, you race.
Fine, I was wrong on that one. You're right. I apologize for being wrong on that one. Kenny, I'm sorry. It was... You know, my relationship with him is not that dissimilar to Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan. Like, we have our moments where we obviously really hate each other. We have our moments where we really like each other, you know, because, like, I'm Mr. Wonderful. So,
wow.
Joe, I'm done with you.
You're fired.
Okay.
You're done.
So,
I'm done with you.
no Donald Trump. We don't support that shit.
Oh, stop it. Stop.
China. China.
I can deal with you're fired. I can't deal with
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I mean, that was his punchline on the reality show.
Yeah, you're right.
So I
you're right.
can live with that one.
All right, so anyway, I'm a huge fan of the Fast and Furious movies. Most of you guys, I'm sure, at least are pretty aware of what those movies are. And at the end of the day, I think you probably also know that at this point, no less than 2 pro wrestling legends have appeared in the franchise as characters. You've had The Rock show up in... 3 of the Fast and Furious movies and a spinoff as Hobbs. And you've now, in the 9th one, had John Cena show up playing Vin Diesel's brother.
John Cena!
Exactly. He's having fun. I love that for him.
Yeah.
That's what you should have done. I love you.
Right? Oh my God, that's him next week. So now we've had The Rock and John Cena show up in this universe, and I think that the fair question now is, because we all know that there are a lot of wrestlers who are actors also. You know, you've had everyone from Randy Orton in a movie to The Miz to Kane to Triple H. He was the pacifier or whatever the hell that movie was. I said The Miz.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. There was also...
Summer Rae was part of like the Marine series that WWE did.
Yeah, you know who else was in that? The Miz. So all I'm saying is Stone Cold Steve Austin tried to be an actor at one point. That didn't go very well. But all I'm saying is Hulk Hogan. Hell, The Undertaker was in Suburban Commando. Do you remember him in Suburban Commando?
I do.
I love that movie. That movie is awful and I love it. But anyway. So my question is to you guys, what wrestler, and it could be one who doesn't have to be an active wrestler, but one who's an actor, or it could just be one who we have no idea if he can act, but he's on TV, whatever. What wrestler would you guys like to see show up in the next Fast and Furious movie?
You know who I think would actually be a good fit for the... I'm not necessarily a big fan of the franchise. I've seen the first couple...
100%.
Definitely. Porn off.
You just said porn off.
Porn off. No, you know what I actually think would be a good fit for the Fast franchise?
Who?
Big E. I can see him in there.
I could sort of see that, actually. That's an interesting answer. I didn't see you going in that direction.
That would be entertaining.
No, he's funny as hell. I feel like he can do a decent job of, pulling a role off on there.
I could see that, actually. Yeah, like, it could be kind of fun. I don't hate that answer. That's a fun one.
Big E's the one that really came up. I mean, could you see Bobby Lashley doing it?
No. I don't think that man could act.
Right. Go to 101.
Because he barely acts well as a pro wrestler.
That's fucking mean. How you gonna fucking talk about shit about Bobby Lashley like that, man?
I love him in the ring, but let's be honest, like, he can't cut a promo. He can't, like,
Dude,
he didn't have it. Like, I think the MVP show up.
You just wanted to use that Bobby fucking...
Yeah, that's all loan for Big.
Mike, who you got? Who you got for me?
All right, so I have 2 that I've been clamoring on. One of them from the male demographic, one of them from the female demographic.
Ooh.
I will start with the female one because I want to hear your guys' opinion on it.
Jinx, Joe. We said ooh at the same time. Jinx. Go.
So what, does he owe you a soda now or something? What the fuck is this, like 3rd grade?
What would you like me to owe you?
Don't wait. Don't do that.
Nope.
It's in your eye.
Something's in my eye. No, not till after.
Lust.
Yeah. Twinkle.
Lust is in his eye.
Lust in your eye.
So my first up that I want to tell you is the female, obviously, because I want to hear your guys' perspective.
Okay.
There's a couple of very easy ones that you could go with. You could say Charlotte, you could say Bailey, you could say Sasha Banks. I'm going to go off the beaten path because I think that she could be really fun for the series, especially because of some other people that have been in the series.
Becky Lynch would actually be really awesome. You know, Ronda Rousey was in one of the movies.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
She could act about as well as she could wrestle, for the record. But, like, yeah, she was in, like, Fast 6. She showed up for a scene, basically. A really awesome scene. Her and Michelle Rodriguez have a great fight. But, no, Becky Lynch is a really good answer, actually. I could totally see her. She hasn't done much acting, has she?
Not that I'm aware of. That's why I'm saying
I could see her being a good actress.
I think she could be, too. And I think that's why I think it'd be a fun...
Could you see Seth Rollins showing up as like the bad guy?
Yes.
No. Oh, really?
He's basically a Miami Vice villain at this point.
I mean, he wears suits that are ripping and fucking...
I'll buy Seth Rollins as long as he cackles.
Yes.
I love that cackle, dude.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
You know his last name is Lopez in real life?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, we're related. Anyway, not really, but he is. His last name is Lopez. That's a real thing.
You're like one of a million.
Who's your man's?
Okay, so the male that I would take, and again, I'm actually gonna go a little
off the path.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. No, because I'm actually gonna get out of WWE completely. I'm not even gonna.
Hey,
Kenny Omega.
Nope.
Kenny Omega, no. Get the fuck away from the movies, please. Cornball ass.
Just because of how great I think he would be in some of the talking segments. Give me the War King. Give me Eddie Kingston.
I can see Eddie Kingston.
I think Eddie Kingston would kill in that role.
And you know, he could be like most of them. Like he could even start as the bad guy and end up being a good guy because they like to do that in these movies.
Not bad. Yeah, future casting actually. It's not bad.
That's a good one. So I'm gonna go on a not off the beaten path answer. This path has been beaten to death, but that's okay.
Something else has been beaten to death, but I'm not gonna talk about it.
You know.
I actually would love to see Batista show up in one of these movies because honestly, Batista's actually kind of an amazing actor. If you've seen him, huh?
You ever been in his movies before? Batista?
Not those.
Not in those. No.
He was doing a lot of the Guardian stuff.
Technically, him and Vin Diesel have done movies together before because Vin Diesel voices Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Right. So I mean, but like. You have to, Batista's one of those actors that you have to look past like the Marvel movies and stuff like that. Correct. Watch him in Blade Runner 2049 or whatever the hell the name of that movie was. Watch him in like My Spy or watch him in Stuber, which aren't great movies, but he's really good in them. He's a great actor. He's another one that I think you could actually put him in a role and it'd be really interesting to see him do. You know
what else I can see doing this also too, real quick?
What?
He's doing crazy. I think Baron Corbin could fit well in that.
I can see Baron Corbin being a good actor.
That's a heel.
It's because he could be the villain.
Yeah, right. I can see him being a villain.
He plays the villain very well.
Right.
You know another name, and I'm just going to be a smartass with this answer, but I think it makes a ton of sense because of other people. I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura be part of Tokyo Drift 2.
Oh my god, I love that so much. I'm not even going to lie. I'm so here for that. I've not been here for anything else more. Oh my god, that's amazing.
I do think you guys will see one of my fucking Paul Orndorff appearance on there.
I mean, as a hologram, maybe. Like, I don't know how you make that work at this point, but
yeah. Anyway, okay. Before we get started, before we get in the show, rather, we done with Joe? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, before we're gonna debut finally. Well, not a debut, but we're actually gonna revamping our MVP now to wrestlers of the week.
All right, so this is.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so for you at home, I'll give you how we're going to score this. So if you want to follow along at home, you can. So if you get a first place vote, you get 7 points. Second place, you get 5. Third place, you get 3 points. Oh no, sure. I'm sorry. It's 5, 3, and 1 for the week. For the overall, if you win the week, you get 10. Second place, you get 7. Third place, you get 5. Fourth place, you get 3 points. And if somehow we end up with a fifth place, they'll get 1 point. Ties, both of the people tied get the full points. And me and Joe talked about this, and I'll let you make a decision either way because we're going to do this live for all you guys to hear it. In the ability that you pick a tag team.
Okay.
So hypothetically, you pick the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson each get 3 points.
Lucha Brothers.
Why would I do that, Mike? Why would I? Make a case right now.
You're going to give him the fucking courtesy of the Lucha Brothers. Plus, my wife's running water while.
I mean.
So. Okay, we'll say this. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston win the AEW tag titles next week. You give them that. Okay,
allegedly.
So they end up with 3 points. Do each of them get 3 points, or do they each get a point and a half whenever you pick John Moxley as an individual later down the road?
Oh, I think it should be a tag. Oh shit, that's a good one.
Is that day?
I said it should be a tag team also.
But it's but that's why I said that I think each of them should get half of the points that are allotted.
Okay.
So if you put 2 single stars together and they do something crazy and they win the tag titles for a week, if they get 10 points, they each get 5 points towards their standings for the year. They just kind of split the points.
Okay. Well, we'll go with that. We'll go with that for now. We'll go with that. But,
well, we can talk about it off air, but that was my.
Right.
There's no tag teams this week, so we don't have to decide right now.
Well.
So let me read my first real quick, and then I'll get to you guys in a second. My number 3 this week is the new IWGP U.S. champion. Is that IWGP or IGWP? Is it
IWGP?
IWGP U.S. champion. That is the Murder Hawk Lance Archer. A great match last night, actually. Fucking spots upon spots upon spots. By the way, I like the fork, stabbing the fork thing, though. Can we please not do that again, please? I'm not really.
Don't watch next week's show, then.
Yeah, you're not ready for Nick Gage.
No, I know. I know how bad it is.
Rob the Bank live on air.
It's not that I can watch it. It's just my
You also may put a piece of pizza cutter in Chris Jericho's mouth.
I get the whole hey dad, why can't I watch AEW? And then I'm reminded last night why you don't watch AEW. 8-year-old, the same. Okay. Number 2, the head of the table retains Roman Reigns. Big win against Edge. Great match, of course. And number 1 is she had. I mean, she may not be ever mentioned in this again. Who knows? But she had the week of her career, winning the Money in the Bank on Sunday, and literally 24 hours later, catching the bank and damn, sorry, where's that?
Money in the Blank.
Yeah, Money in the Blank. I was going to drop the song about it too. No, cashing in on the Money in the Bank on Charlotte Flair. That is Nikki ASH, almost superhero. Fantastic week for her. Fantastic.
Yes.
8 hours actually, man. And again, I like the booking here because they're trying something new. I like them trying new things now. I'm okay with it. So there you go.
All right. So my number 3 was the man who is the new Mr. Money in the Bank, for all of his amazing gyrations and the fact that he finally is here. He finally is in this moment. We don't know when he's going to cash in. We don't know if he's going to win the title. We don't know any of that. He may never make this list again, unfortunately. Booty. But that would be booty. That'd be a lot of booty. But yeah, straight booty is the worst. I like gay booty. But at the end of the day, I got to give Big E. I got to give Big E his props. He's got to be on this list for me. So he's my number 3. My number 2, as Mike pulls it up for me so I can remember who I said. My number 2, and this is...
With a fucking notepad, please. God damn it, dude.
It's okay. My number 2, and this is totally from kayfabe terms, because look, I wasn't a fan of the match. I know you were. I know other people were. I wasn't a fan of it. I don't like what they did to Kofi. I don't like the way it went. But if you're judging this strictly in kayfabe terms, if you're judging this strictly as if you were taking wrestling as a reality thing, Bobby Lashley dominated Kofi Kingston. He destroyed his opponent. You belong on the list for something like that.
He also had a really good match against Keith Lee on Raw.
Yeah.
Where he kind of did the same.
Bobby.
Also
I
true.
mean,
Right. If this was a UFC ranking and
number one with a bullet.
Right, exactly. If this was a UFC ranking and Conor McGregor was out there dominating people like this, there'd be no question he'd be number one. So I can't not have Bobby Lashley on my list, even if I don't love what he's done to these guys. Like, even if I like them better necessarily, you know? So Bobby Lashley is my number 2. And my number 1, I'm with you, Ernest. I mean, she won the Money in the Bank on Sunday. She won the title on Monday. Like, how do you deny that? It's Nikki, and I love seeing it. I love her. She's so awesome. It's one of those feel good. Like, you thought she was never gonna get the due that she deserved from WWE, and then for at least this brief moment in time, she matters.
Bro,
so
call me crazy. Her winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing in and winning the title reminds me of Mick Foley winning the championship in 1999.
Sure.
You don't remember Reign? Remember his only last 3 weeks? He lost the Rumble.
Yeah. No. I absolutely give it to you. And honestly, that to tie it back into our topic earlier, that also mattered more because it was in front of a live crowd. Her cashing in was exciting in front of a live crowd. If they had done that, if live crowds weren't back until SummerSlam and they did that the night after Money in the Bank, still would not have had the impact that it had. So
if Otis had cashed, let's say now, let's say last year, it would have more impact.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Michael.
At number 1, I have the Almost Superhero as well. So clean sweep for her in the number 1 position. At number 2, I'm with Joe with his number 3 selection. I have Big E as the number 2 wrestler of the week. And my number 3 is going to be a little different. I pulled a curveball. I told you guys something different. I changed it over the last about 45 minutes to an hour. My number 3 now is a team. That's why I said spoiler alert. I don't like what they're doing, but I have to give them props because they had a really, really, really good tag match at the Impact show. It is the new Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. It's Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, the Good Brothers.
Really?
I didn't realize they won the Impact Tag titles.
Yep. They had a really good match on the show on Saturday.
I mean, that and a Metro car to get you on the train, but...
Yeah, well...
Place done. But...
all right, so after the first week, in first place with 10 points is Nikki, Almost Superhero. In second place with 7 points is Big E. In third, we have a tie between Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns with 5. And then we have Lance Archer and the Good Brothers tied with 3 points.
I like that. I like that for you. Joe, I like it for you also.
Yeah, sure.
All right, before we get going, any shout-outs? Anything you want to talk about? Any final thoughts?
I got nothing.
Oh, yeah. Besides Jay White showing up and basically saying that he doesn't want to be part of like this elite bullshit, but then he's having a tag match where it's him and Chris Bay versus the Good Brothers, where he's probably going to turn on Chris Bay and join them anyways. Because this is like the really like bad
Bullet Club
that they do with fucking professional wrestling sometimes.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks, but I'll watch it.
You know what? Here's a plug though. New Japan's got a really big show coming up this weekend. It's technically is it on Sunday?
I think it's Saturday.
It's Saturday,
like
but for
Saturday
us it's
night,
Sunday.
Sunday morning.
Right. So come
Wrestle Grand Slam, I believe is what's the name of it.
Yeah. So come our daily show the day after that. Mike and I, Ernest, you don't even have to join us for that one because you know nothing about New Japan.
But if you
Mike and I
pronounce their names,
okay.
I'll shoot you in the nuts.
Actually, no. Real talk though. I'm really trying to start opening up more than just AW and WWE going forward.
I love that for you. So anyway. if you actually do want to watch it, I invite you to watch it, and then we could all talk about it. That'd be amazing. Mike and I are definitely going to cover it on that daily podcast because New Japan does need to be more a part of this conversation.
But the main event is very up in the air.
Yeah. Kota Ibushi might be out.
Two questions. Will there be food there?
Will there be what?
There's always food.
Will there be food there?
Yeah, of course.
Also,
Mike?
Will there be drinks there?
Access denied. Go.
Sorry, what the hell was that? I was trying to play a little bit of bubbly drop and drop.
There will be beverages.
I need drinks.
A bit of the bubbly.
Oh my
God.
Cool.
All right.
Anything else?
Twitters.
Get some music here.
Oh, fuck my Twitter.
He's at JLo Sugar.
You know your fucking Twitter, dude. What? God, you.
I'm at They Call Me Burn.
I don't know my Twitter name.
Joseph,
barely my phone number.
Mike's a guy. I'm the producer host, and
my phone number and I have a very Hulk Hogan Paul Orndorff relationship. Like, we barely know each other that well, and we're always feuding with each other. It's like it goes on forever.
All right, each of us is on Twitter. Of course, take number 3 wrestling on Twitter. Engage. I said we're expanding the social medias and all that.
Yeah.
I guess we are done.
Follow me on Instagram. I post shirtless pics.
Yeah.
Dead kill.
Am I going to be allowed to plug my OnlyFans when I start one?
No.
Wait,
Yeah.
can I plug my rent man?
I don't know. Maybe do it on the Patreon.
If you live in Florida, look me up on Rentman. I give you a good rate.
This
on that note, good night. Goodbye. Good luck.
There
you go. We did.
Awesome. Okay, I want to go home now. I'm tired.